Hi everyone, welcome to FilmDirt. Let's talk about Robocop 3, shall we? I've already reviewed the previous two films. The first one is one of the best movies of all time. I'd buy that for $1. There's no doubt about it. Second one, interesting, but not as good, not by any stretch. So we've come to Robocop 3, which had a little bit of a troubled release because I recall Orion Pictures were very close to going bankrupt. They had a few movies completely bomb, and I believe Robocop 3 was one of the movies that was supposed to save the studio. There was an effort to bring down the certificate to get more bums on seats, as they say. I think that's how the story went. I believe this film was supposed to save the studio, but Orion already went bankrupt. It was too late, possibly because there was word that Robo 3 wasn't going to be that great, so maybe the investors pulled their money out and just didn't have any faith in this movie, which is a shame because upon revisiting it, I find it's not great. It's not a great movie, but there's some charm. And there's a charm in this and an intrigue that Robocop 2 didn't have. Like I said in my review for that movie, there's a bad vibe with Robocop 2. It's just a bit too sinister, I guess. It was just something bad going on there. But Robocop 3 actually made an effort to be interesting and somewhat similar to the first movie. I think Fred Dekker, he did an okay job. I don't begrudge what he did at all. He took on the project, and I think he was told from the off that you had to bring the certificate down, adult themes to a significant level. But there's still some things in here which I think on the line to getting a higher certificate. I believe in UK it was always a 12 or a 15. It was never a PG. It was never that low. And in the US, I believe it was PG-13. I don't recall it ever being in the cinemas. I just suddenly saw this on the shelf, straight to VHS. So a bit of a troubled release, to say the least, and it didn't really deserve that. I think it's better than what critics have said it is. Fred Dekker was hindered by the guidance for a lower certificate and the studio going bankrupt and lack of money. I think he's worked around it. There is blood in this film and there's a few milder profanities, but he's tried to do his best with it. And we've got some good themes coming, mainly from the first movie where we've got Alex Murphy, now played brilliantly by Robert Burke. I think he's fantastic and very much like Peter Weller, and he tried his best. I understand his suit didn't fit and they tried to work around it and probably didn't have enough money to build a new one for him. And he delivers the few instances of a relationship with his wife. She makes a brief appearance, and obviously he's got a new relationship with his partner, Lewis, and that's great. So we got a little bit of the humanity back that was probably missing in Robocop 2. I think they were just going through the motions with this. But this movie does try. Let's say it just tries to bring some of the Robocop 1 essence back, albeit in a much softer, lighter tone. Obviously you don't have the old villains anymore, so he doesn't have that drive. So what do we have? We've got the splatterpunks, which are nowhere near Clarence Bodica's band of scumbags. We're never going to get that level of hate back. So we've got the splatterpunks, and we've got a takeover attempt by a Japanese corporation, and it's probably mimicking Orion Pictures takeover potential. I think there's probably a parallel going on there. It's all really interesting, and we've got a brief appearance from my favourite Bixby, Snyder. I'd buy that for $1, but it's very, very, very brief dollar. Overall, I think the performances are good. The villain is good. Bruce Locke. I've seen him in another couple of films. He's got that familiar face. You know you've seen him before, and he's done some good work. He plays the ninja type robot, which must have been a big thing in the 90s. I remember a lot of movies and computer games with a ninja type cool thing, wasn't it, at the time? Nancy Allen's death scene is great. Sad to see the character pass away. I think she wanted to leave the series and go out with a bang. She probably knew that, or they all probably knew this would be the last movie. And I don't know whether she phones it in or not. She does just enough. There's just enough of a performance there. And she probably got tired of the role. I mean, 3 films in this role is commendable. And it's good to go out with a bang. And I'm glad they didn't bring her back as a robot. That would have been just too much. So I think it was a satisfying end to the character. And the other villains, they're good as well. You know, faces you recognise again. And you've got to feel sorry for any sequel of Robocop, because you're never going to reach the absolute pinnacle that movie reached. I mean, it's really one of a kind. But this movie tries. And I just think it's held together by Robert Burke's fantastic performance. He does a lot of things that are similar to Peter Weller, and I think he's represented the role very faithfully. And there's a couple of really good themes here. They're driving people out of their homes to build a new city and clean up the place. Or is it just to rake in more money at the expense of others by building a massive corporate city and making the public pay for it all? You know, there's still some good themes there to make us think. Very reminiscent of the first movie, like I said, but it's just not hitting the mark. I think it's definitely worth a watch. You can watch it with your older kids, and I think it's almost there. And I actually prefer this to the second movie in a way. I do like the second movie. I've said that there is some good there, and there's some parts of it which I don't like. It rubs me up the wrong way. But Robo 3 is on a par. I'd say this is a 3 stars as well, and it's also good to get the classic score back from Basil Polidoris. And sounds like he reworked it. It sounds different. It sounds more like an action theme rather than a lot of sorrow, sad theme. So yeah, you've got a different version of the classic theme here, and it's all good. The more I think about it, the more this film is actually a pleasant surprise. But you know, if you want to see a definitive Robocop movie, it's still the first movie. It's fantastic, and this one is still worth a watch. So that's the end of my review, guys, and thank you for joining me. Join me again for another review next time, and just leave you with a little bit about myself. I don't take any bonuses from the studios or any free tickets in exchange for good reviews. None of that at all from me. So thanks again. It was good speaking to you, and hope to see you again. Take care.